Good.
Hello, and welcome to another case study. This is all about the heart problems, angina, cholesterol, high blood pressure. What do you do if you or someone close to you has been diagnosed or has been told they have a problem with the heart, like a cleft or open chamber, and you're worried about it and you're concerned? Well, this case study is for you. I'm Taya Skate, and I use a unique combination of biochemical, psycho-emotional, and neurological assessments and treatments combined, and I only work with root causes. So I've got David with me, and I met David exactly a month after he suffered a stroke, which was completely out of the blue because he's a healthy, fit and fab mortgage broker. So he's going to share his case study. Hi, David.
Hi, Taya. How are you?
Fantastic. So tell me what it was like after you had this stroke.
I was really shocked. It scared me a hell of a lot. I had no idea that I had any health problems. I'd been exercising regularly. I was a little overweight, but I thought that everything was fine. So I was very scared when I found out.
And you were put on 4 medications immediately by your GP, and you were seeing a cardiologist.
Didn't actually get to see a cardiologist. My GP put me on medications for blood pressure, also for cholesterol, and I did have some other scans and tests done by the doctor, but at that stage there was no cardiologist involved.
Yes. So when we started working, we did your hormonal analysis, which kind of showed that there was a lot of inflammation, there was stress. And that happens with people who exercise a lot. It can happen. And we implemented the specific nutrition plan for you, which you called a diet, we call it nutrition. And you lost 8 kilos, right? So what 3 benefits have you gained as a result of you and I working intensely for 3 months?
Okay, first of all, I learned a lot about my own body and what makes my body work. So the hair testing sort of obviously gave that information to you, and I was able to adjust my diet, which also accumulated in me losing 8 kilos of weight. My health improved as far as I started to sleep routinely, 8 hours plus every night. I stopped snoring. I was more rested, more energy, and I felt terrific, to be honest, very quickly.
Excellent. And I remember you were concerned about one of the medications that was giving you a dry mouth and sore throat, and you went back to the doctor. And when you asked him, because you wanted to know what was the root cause of the stroke, and no one can tell you.
No, and that probably, I suppose, didn't give me a lot of faith in what I was hearing, because I had all these drugs that were going to make me better, but they couldn't tell me why, and couldn't tell me what the actual drugs were doing. And when I complained about the cough, I was told, oh no, you need to keep taking that because that's the most important drug, but they still couldn't tell me what that drug was actually doing and why it was causing the cough.
So we worked intensely for 3 months, and then gave you a break for 2 months, and we resumed working like touch base for another 3 months. And you told me that you stopped taking medication in November, which was your own idea, and you felt good about it. So yeah, just share how that happened.
I couldn't get rid of the cough for starters. It got worse. It became embarrassing because we've gone through, COVID outbreaks, over the last 3 years. And I just couldn't stop coughing, and everybody would glare at me wherever I went out in the public because I was coughing constantly. People don't want to listen to you saying, oh, look, I've got another medical problem, because then they think there is something wrong, So, I got very frustrated with that, and I'd had second blood tests done, which came back and showed that, all the things that supposedly were wrong with me were very, very low. And I imagine that they could pass that off on, well, that's the drugs that have done that. But I knew that not the medication, but the food that I was eating and the health that I was achieving, I felt so much better. And you just don't get an increase in energy and weight loss and all of those things without it being more involved than just taking a tablet.
And that is a really good point to emphasize, is that when I work with people who've got any condition, any symptom, it's not about putting you on clean, green, boring diet. It's about matching what you need to address the priority. So if I see a lot of inflammation, which I saw inflammation on your hair test, we needed to tone that down. And we know that inflammation causes heart problems and can lead to a heart attack. Oh, your heart can sustain 84% damage before it has a heart attack, right? Most people don't know that, right? So our heart can take a lot of beating. So when it finally gives way, something would have been the last straw. And inflammation is one of them. And exercise causes inflammation, so does stress, and so does certain foods. So was it hard? Was it doable? Sticking to the plan and dealing socially with that?
Yes, for me, I always had this attitude: I can eat what I like, and as long as I exercise and whatever, I can sort of control my weight. I also used to drink a lot of alcohol, and so combinations of eating good food very quickly. I felt so much better that I didn't miss things like potatoes. I didn't miss having alcohol. Because I was feeling so much better, and that was the motivation that kept me going with it. And now I don't even think twice about it. And the education that you got me started on, where I was starting to read articles about foods and starting to get a better understanding of them, made it a lot easier to make those choices.
Yes, and I also remember we talked a lot about cholesterol, and I sent you a whole lot of information on why cholesterol is a good thing, that we don't really want to mess with it. And people that take cholesterol-lowering medication, they end up getting osteoporosis in about 5-10 years, because we need cholesterol to make everything: testosterone, DHEA, progesterone, estrogen, cortisol. All the good stuff is made from cholesterol. And many people are really, really scared, instead of looking at underlying root causes of cholesterol, which is something else entirely, nothing to do with the heart. In fact, if anything, it's to do with the liver and hypothyroidism. So what would you say to people who are worried about the heart, who are told that they've got heart problems, high blood pressure and cholesterol, right? What would you tell them?
Don't just accept that a tablet's going to fix it. You need to go out, you need to discover what makes your body tick. Some of the things that you did for me made me understand, the difference between proteins and carbohydrates, and different types of foods, and the vitamins and enzymes that you get out of food. So all of those things guided me in the right thing, and just don't take one person approach. Sort of check out all the avenues that are available to you, and make informed decisions. And sometimes that you have to do a bit of homework yourself as well.
Yes, definitely. There is homework. Life is homework.
Yes.
So you're back to fitness, you're going hiking with 8 kilos weight loss, so you can actually put more in your backpack.
I wish. But look, the weight loss, the biggest downside of the weight loss, I had to buy new clothes.
Wow.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's all good. I think, we live in a society where we have fast foods and takeaway foods and stuff like that, and I've been caught up in that myself. But I'm now sort of like preparing food, and I cook a meal every day, or I should say Julie, my wife, cooks a meal for me every day at lunch time. So I have a cooked meal for lunch. I'm having a lighter meal in the evening. I'm eating more proteins earlier in the day, so my body has time to digest them. And it's just knowing what foods to have, how to eat, and when to have. And they are not just exactly life skills that you automatically have. They're things you have to learn about. So unless you've had a parent that's been very conscious of those things when you've been growing up, when you become an adult, for me, from a baby boomers, it doesn't work so easily, So yeah, that's good.
So what you're doing now, it fits in with your busy mortgage broking business that you run, because you socialize, you go to conventions, and it is doable, right?
Yes, definitely, it is doable. And I've had this discussion with other people. They say, "Oh, how do you get time to do that? It must be nice you've got your own business. You can just make time when you want to." Well, you can't just make time when you want to, but you've got to have a schedule. You've got to stick to it. You've got to work to your plan. And having a good plan is better than just having a goal. And
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
so that's the work. So that's it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, it's been great working with you and seeing your progress, and you were so eager and open for education, because I sent you lots and lots and you went through it and clicked it and came back with questions, and I love that, because most people are misinformed. There's so much misinformation, and even if someone who is very well informed, there's going to be little gaps, and sometimes filling in the little gaps makes a huge difference. So Well done. Awesome progress, David.
Yeah, thanks, Taya. And if I can say one last thing, health is the most important thing that you've got in your life, and it's the most important part to achieving your goals. And you need a good life coach like you. So thank you.
Excellent. And I should add a biochemist, because I love biochemistry. I can talk about it all day if someone's interested. However, when I'm working with people, I've just got to make it as practical, as simple, as doable, and just get you to trust the process, which you did beautifully.
No, thank you.